So, as you know, you will have your first midterm, on Friday, okay, starting at 5:40 p.m. So, as in your class time. So what I'm planning to do is I will give you the questions, okay? So I will share my screen. You will see the questions, okay? Then I will ask you to open your videos, okay? Your cameras, turn on your cameras, okay? That is for the main reason for that is basically so if I don't do that, some of your friends maybe feel uncomfortable, okay? That the other classmates might be doing something wrong, okay? I just want to prevent that, okay? And I trust you. I know you that you will never do something against the rules of the Sabancı University, okay? But just to proctor it, just to make some kind of a proctoring tool, I will ask you to turn on your cameras, okay? So while you are doing your midterm. So the midterm will be, so I will prepare an exam, okay, which can be completed in an hour. Okay, you will just need 1 hour to complete that exam. Because it is take home, because you may have some kind of some disturbance in your home or in your dorm, okay? I will give extra time, okay? So let's say that I will give you 90 minutes to complete your midterm. Then once you complete your midterm, then you will have 10 minutes to upload your answers, okay? So how you can upload your answers? You can use your mobile phones, your smartphones. You can take the pictures of your answers, and I will ask you to turn it to PDF file. Okay, so there are many options. There are many free options that you can use to turn the pictures to the PDF file. So one of them that I'm using is Adobe Scan. Another one is Cam Recorder, Cam Scanner or Cam Recorder. Okay, so please check it. They are free and they can turn the photos into PDF file. Once you have your PDF files, you can upload it to the Meisu. Okay. If you have any problem during this uploading time, okay, so you can send me email. Okay, but I prefer you to upload it to Meisu. Okay. So again, so the exam will start at 5:40 on Friday. I will share the question through my screen. Okay, I will not send you the PDF files for your the questions. Again, the questions will be not that hard. Okay, it will not be time consuming. So it will be all related what we have done so far. Okay, so it will be all related to the questions that we are solving in the class or the assignments that I am giving to you. And I will ask you to turn on your camera, okay, while you are doing your midterm, okay, while you are solving your midterm. And the main reason for that is basically, I just want to feel your classmates, okay, comfortable, and they don't need to worry about whether some of their friends are cheating or not, okay. Bir de Türkçe anlatayım. Cuma günü 5:40'da sınavınız başlayacak. Soruları ben ekrandan size yansıtacağım. PDF olarak vermeyeceğim size. Ekranda devamlı, benim ekranımda sizin soruları görebileceksiniz. Sorular zaten normal, hani geçen sene sorduklarımdan da kolay olabilir. Yani bu dönemde bu lojistik sorunlarının falan her şeye göz önünde bulunarak size adaletli bir sınav vereceğim. Bu sınav normalde normal şartlar altında 1 saat içerisinde bitebilecek bir sınav olacak. Size ek süre olarak 90 dakika vereceğim. Yani 90 dakika vereceğim. Ve 10 dakikalık bir sürede bu sınav sorularının çözümlerinizi Maysu'ya koyabilmeniz için vereceğim. Bu 10 dakika içerisinde siz fotoğrafını çekip cam scanner'la bunları yükleyebileceksiniz. Zaten 90 dakika içerisinde büyük boyutta bitirip çoktan sınavı yüklemiş olacaksınız zaten. Burada sizden kameranızı açmanızı isteyeceğim. Bunun ana sebebi geçen sene sınıfta daha iyi yapmış olsam da bu sınavı. Daha sonradan bazı arkadaşlarınız gelerek bana sınıfta kopya çekilmiş olabileceğini belirttiler ve bundan duydukları rahatsızlıklarını belirttiler. Bunun aynı şekilde olmaması için, hani her arkadaşınızın adaletli bir şekilde notların alınacağına güvenmesi için sizden kameralarınızı açmanızı isteyeceğim. Ve açıkçası burada bir güven içerisinde bu sınavı halletmeye çalışacağız.
Hocam bir şey sorabilir miyim?
Tabii ki.
Yani take home olmayacak, bildiğiniz online sınav olacak değil mi?
Online sınav olacak, evet.
Take home. İlk önce take home'du da ben o yüzden şey yaptım.
So I don't know how you define take home or online stuff. So this will be take home, okay? So basically, so you will have more than enough time and you will do it in your home. Okay?
Yok, we normally use take home as like they send
No.
you the
So
question.
that was what I meant by the take home. Okay, so and I explained. So I explicitly explained that I will do it during the class time. Okay.
Hocam
Okay.
peki bir şey sorabilir miyim?
Yes.
Hesap makinesi kullanabileceğiz mi sınav
So
esnasında?
of course you can use your calculators.
Peki bir de toplam kaç soru olacak hocam?
So I haven't decided yet on the number of the questions, but it will not be more than 4. Okay, so it will be around 3, maybe 2 questions. Okay, so I will try to make it all fair to you. Okay, I don't want to just ask questions from one topic. Okay, it will be at least 2, at most 4. Okay.
Teşekkürler.
But be sure that okay, so this exam will be in the standard classroom in everything. Okay, this should be completed in 60 minutes. Okay, so it will be not that hard exam, but you need to understand the details of what we are doing. So in the class in the questions that we are solving in the class. So I get some questions here. Yes, so you will upload it to the course. Okay, so the platform that you are uploading to the your assignments. Course, yes. Okay, not my okay, course.
Hocam bir şey daha sorabilir miyim?
Tabii ki.
Open book mu olacak sınav?
So it is supposed to be not open book. Okay.
Tamam.
So I don't know how I can explain, but so you are supposed to not use your notes. Okay, so what I may allow you to prepare a cheat sheet for you. Okay, you can prepare a cheat sheet. Okay, what is a cheat sheet? You can write down some formulas that you may forget or some kind of the definitions you want to take note. Okay, you can use that cheat sheet. But I don't want you to use your class notes or something like that.
Okay. Tamam, teşekkürler.
Hocam ben de bir şey sorabilir miyim?
Sure.
Kameradan kastınız hani Zoom açacağız ve Zoom üzerinden mi şey yapacağız? Bir de ekranda yansıtacak mıyız yoksa sadece bizi çekmesi yeterli mi kameranın?
So I just want I will put okay. So let me explain that point again. So I will share my screen, okay, and you will see the question through Zoom. So which means that your Zoom should be open all the time. In addition to that, I just want you to open your the laptop's camera or your PC's cameras. Okay, so I don't want you to see your room or I don't want to see your house. So I just want to see your face while you are solving the questions. Burada sadece normalde zaten Zoom'unuzun açık olması lazım. Ekrana yansıtacağımdan dolayı PDF olarak göndermeyeceğim soruları.
Evet hocam şeyden sordum. Geçen dönem Mat 203'te de aynı uygulamayı yapmışlardı ama herkesin sesi açık yani ses açık oluyordu. Hani
Sure.
çok
so you will all make unmute. Okay, so it will be unmute. Okay, just the camera. Okay, so, and it is just, I just want to make sure that, okay, so you are not doing something else, or you get me. Okay. And burada ne kadar sınav güvenliğini sağlayabiliyorsak o kadar sağlamaya çalışacağız.
Tamam hocam. Yani klasik online sınav olacak. Teşekkür ederim.
Aynen.
Hocam bir şey daha sorabilir miyim?
Sure.
Sucourse'a bazen yüksek megabaytta bir dosya yüklediğimiz zaman sınırı aştığınız olarak uyarı veriyor. Eğer böyle bir şeyle karşılaşırsak size mail atabilir miyiz cevapları?
In that case, of course, you can email me. Okay. So during that 10 minutes, okay. So whenever you are having any problem, okay, you can just send me email. But if you take the PDF, okay, so if you convert your pictures to the PDF, I'm sure that so you will not face any problem. But in that case, don't worry about it. Okay, so you can email me and find another for it. Okay.
Teşekkürler.
So there is another question. So today I will make some kind of a summary for the last chapter that we have covered. Okay, I will repeat what I have done in the recorded course. Okay, so I will solve more questions, and of course those topics will be in your midterm. On Wednesday, I will make some kind of a, so if you have any questions, okay, so it will be something like an office hour. Okay, so on Wednesday, so you will have recitation. Okay, so your TAs will solve more questions, and in my part, okay, so I will answer your questions, okay, during Wednesday. Okay, so which means that, okay, there will be nothing extra in your midterm. Okay, but you will be responsible for the examples that we are solving today, or we are so I will not cover something new today. Okay, so it will be just some kind of a help for you. Okay. Bugünkü yeni bir konu, hani tabii ki bir şeyler yapacağız. Ama hani bir önceki bu consumer choice biraz önemli bir konu. Sizin anlamanız için bir tekrar babında ya da detaylarını size gösterme babında geçecek. Çarşamba günü de benim olan bir saatte 3.30-4.30 arasında ise sizin önceki konularla ilgili sorularınız ya da bu konuyla ilgili sorularınız varsa onları yanıtlayacağım. Do you have any other question?
I have a question.
Sure.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes. I live in Pakistan, so these days there is a lot of problem of power outage. So, like the electricity goes like frequently and not at like specific times. So sometimes the net gets disconnected. So if my video gets disconnected during the exam, what should I do? Like, should I email you or what?
Of course, so please email me, okay? So, and we will try to solve that problem, okay? So,
Okay, thank you so much.
we will handle it, okay? So don't worry about it. But so
Okay.
if you have a outage, then you will have your mobile phone and you can email me, right?
Yes, exactly. Then,
Okay.
but the video will get disconnected for some time, like.
Okay, so we will hope that so there will be no problem. But in the case of the problem, so we will solve it. Don't worry about it.
Thank you so much.
Any other question? Okay. So then let me start for today's topic. Okay. So so basically, so if you are hesitating asking question in front of the class right now, and if you have any concerns, please do not hesitate to email me. Okay.
Hocam, can I ask something?
Sure.
Like you will mirror your screen to us, but what if it doesn't fit the screen? So
it will fit. It will fit. Basically, so I will use only one page or two pages. Okay, so I will basically split the screen into two, and it will fit. Okay, there will be no problem on that part. Okay.
Okay, thank you.
And if you have a problem, we will solve it.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
Şimdi arkadaşlar hani bu hepimizin çok alışık olmadığı bir ortam olduğundan dolayı hani bir problemimiz olursa anında çözmeye çalışacağız. Yani tamam mı? Hani hiç sıkıntı çekmeyin. Şöyle olursa nasıl olur, böyle olursa nasıl olur diye. Hiç düşünmeyin. Siz sınavınıza, sorularınıza çalışın. Cuma günü eğer hani bir sıkıntı olursa süreyi uzatırız. PDF'i göndeririz, kamerayı kapatırız. Herhangi bir şekilde çözeriz. Ama hani biz ilk aşamadaki planımız it will be online exam, okay? During the class time, you will have plenty of time. You need to turn on your cameras, okay? I will share my screen for the question. If we have any problem, okay, so we will try to solve it. Okay, don't worry about anything else. Okay, just prepare for your exam. Okay. Any other question? Good. So then let me start. Okay, so again, so I recorded this part of the class, or even I'm not covering something related with the class, just the explanation for the midterm. So for the cases, so if you miss this class, okay, so you can just watch this part again, okay? And if you have any further question, please do not hesitate to email me. So let me share my screen. Okay, so we will continue from the budget constraint. Okay, so again, okay, so this will be some kind of a summary. Okay, so I will redo what I have done in the last in the last week. Okay, so I will turn off my camera. How do I do that? Okay. So whenever you have questions, okay, please ask. Okay, so what we are doing in this chapter is basically we are working on the consumer choice. So what we have covered so far is we have covered the preferences, okay, and for the preferences we were using indifference curves. And we also use the utility functions. Okay, so what does the indifference curves means? Okay, so basically they are the set of the points. Okay, so all in these points you get the same satisfaction. Okay. And if you move in this direction, okay, you get more satisfaction. Okay. And here we have two goods. Okay, good 1 and good 2. Okay. Then we define the budget constraint. So budget constraint is basically depending on the prices of the goods, and so we can say also line, okay, and your income. Okay, so let's denote your income with I, okay, and price of goods. So we have two goods here. P1 is the price of good 1, and P2 is the price of good 2. Then the budget constraint, the budget line is the set of the points, okay, the bundles that you can afford by using all your income. Okay, so if we would like to write it as an equation, it is basically P1 times X1 plus P2 times X2 is equal to your income. Here, X1 is the amount of good 1, and X2 is the amount of good 2. Okay, so if you would like to draw this budget constraint, on the graph. Again, this is the amount of good 1, this is amount of good 2. So what we determine is basically, so we determine that the maximum amount of those goods, okay, we can afford with our budget. So what is the maximum amount of good 1 I can afford? What is that? It is I over P1, okay? So I put that point here, it is I over P1. And what is the maximum amount of good 2 that I can afford? It is I over P2. And the budget line is basically the straight line connecting those two extreme points. Okay? So, this is budget line. And this is basically the bundles that I can afford with all my income. So we have, okay, some two goods, okay. So in this chapter we have two goods. They have prices, we have income, and we have preferences. Okay, so let's make these two goods more clear. So let's say that one of them is coffee and the other one is tea. Okay, then our main question here is, what is the best bundle for me? Okay, so which means that which bundle maximizes my utility, okay, my satisfaction. And without the budget constraint, okay, so if I'm not restricted with the budget constraint, so let's say that these are your indifference curves, okay, so which are representing your preferences. So what you want to do is basically you want to move as far as possible from the origin. Okay, so the upper the indifference curve, okay, the higher the utility, the higher the satisfaction that you are getting. But we are somewhat constrained with our budget line. Okay, so budget line is our constraint. So let me ask you a question here. Okay, so suppose that you have 100 liras right now, okay, and I ask you, so which bundle of the teas and the coffees that you would like to consume, okay? Do you want to save some money, or do you want to spend all your money on those coffees and coffee and tea? Would you save some money, or would you spend all your income? Okay. So for this economy, okay, so since there are only two goods, okay, so there is no other good, okay, so there is no other options here. You either use your money for coffee and tea, or you just keep it in your pocket. Okay, and in your pocket, so the value of money is nothing. Therefore, you would like to spend all your income, okay, all your money, which means that the optimal bundle will be on the budget line. Okay, but which point? Okay, so remember this orange is the budget line. But which point? Okay, so do you want to have this point or this point or this point? For example, would you select this point, point A? Okay, so I want everyone to see this. Okay, so why don't you want to consume bundle A? Okay, so let me try to explain it. So because there is an indifference curve, okay, passing through this bundle A. Okay, remember that, okay, as you go farther away from the origin, or you become better off. So which means that, so if you consider this point B gives you a higher utility, okay, a higher satisfaction, okay? Since B is preferred to A and it is affordable, so which means that you have enough money to buy the bundle B, then A cannot be the optimal bundle. Bunu herkes görebiliyor mu? Can everyone see this? Orada mısınız?
Hocam sayfayı aşağı indirirseniz biraz daha rahat göreceğiz sanırım.
Aşağıya böyle mi? Böyle.
Aşağıya. Evet böyle.
Okay, so now you can see properly, right?
Yes.
Okay, so can everyone see why bundle A, okay, cannot be the optimal bundle? Okay, so again, for an optimal bundle, so it should be affordable. Is that bundle affordable? Can I use my budget to buy that bundle? Yes, because it is on my budget line. But is it, so can I do better? Yes, I can do better because, so as you can see here, bundle B, which lies on a upward, okay, upper indifference curve, which gives me higher utility, higher satisfaction than bundle A, which is also affordable. Okay, then let me ask you the same question. Can bundle be my optimum choice? The answer is no. Okay, so why? Because there is another bundle here. Okay, so let's say C, so which lies on an upper indifference curve. Okay, bundle C lies on an upper indifference curve and is still bought by my budget. Okay, so it is still in my budget. I can still afford it. Okay, so which means that C is better than B. Okay, then let's turn back to here. Is C my optimal bundle, can see my optimal bundle. Okay, so let me make the graph. It looks like that C is the most, okay, the highest utility that I can achieve. Okay, sorry for that. But here, okay, so there is another indifference curve, as you can see here, okay. So there is an upper indifference curve here, which can be tangent to my budget line. Okay, so let's say this is point D. Okay, so remember, okay, there are many indifference curves. Okay, I'm just drawing some of them to represent my preferences. In fact, so there are many indifference curves here. And because there is some kind of the gap between this indifference curve and my budget line, so which means that I can draw an upper indifference curve than the one that C is on, and I can achieve a higher utility here. Okay. So let me write it here. Since D is better than C and D is on budget line, C cannot be optimal. Biraz daha büyütelim grafiği. Okay. So as you look, okay, my drawing is not perfect here. Okay, but what I try to do is basically I try to draw a indifference curve, okay, which is tangent to the budget line. What do I mean by the tangent? It is just touching on one point. And that point is D. Okay, so here in indifference curve and budget line are tangent. Okay, they are touching only on one point, and that point is point D. So which means that if I want to go in this direction, okay, for the indifference curve, can there be an intersection with such an indifference curve and budget line? Burada D noktası, let me explain in Turkish, okay? Burada D noktasıyla D noktasının önemi, bir tane indifference curve, en yüksekteki indifference curve, benim budget line'ımla tangent. Sadece bir noktada dokunuyor. Bu bir noktada dokunduğundan dolayı, if I go in this direction, okay, for a better indifference curve, for an upper indifference curve, there will be no intersection, okay, with my budget line. No upper indifference curve can intersect with budget line. Bu durum ne anlama geliyor? If no upper indifference curve can intersect with the budget line, then any point on that indifference curve cannot be afforded. Any point on an upper indifference curve cannot be afforded. Yani ben D'den fazla bir utility satisfaction elde edemem. Şu anki budget'ım ve price'larla. So which means that I cannot get a higher utility or a higher satisfaction with my current budget and the price of good 1 and good 2. So which means that D is my optimum bundle. So let me stop for 1 minute, okay? And so let me wait for your question, so if there's any. Any questions? Güzel. So I have found this optimum bundle, okay, through my drawing, okay? My drawing is not perfect and it may be misleading, but this is how this is the logic, okay, behind this consumer choice. So you would like to achieve, okay, you would like to be on the upper indifference curve that you can afford. What does it mean by affording an indifference curve? Okay, basically one bundle on that indifference curve should be on your on your budget line. So which means that so you are looking for an intersection with the indifference curve and the budget line. So just looking the intersection is not enough, okay? Because so point A is an intersection of the budget line with some indifference curve, but the point is you can achieve a higher utility. Point B, okay? So it's giving a higher utility. B is not optimal because you can get a higher utility from point C, and you can still get a higher utility from point D. But since point D is the tangent point, so which means that whenever you go in this direction, the indifference curve will never intersect with the budget line. So which basically implies that point D is your optimal bundle. So this is just the representation on the graph. How we can do it through maths, okay? How can we find the optimal bundle? So let me draw it the graph one more again, okay? But now it will be clear. Just one indifference curve, the uppermost indifference curve that intersects with the budget line. So this orange one is my budget line, and this uppermost indifference curve is this one. Okay. And let's say that this is point D, okay, bundle D, which is my D is optimum bundle. Okay, but how do I do that? Okay, how can I find the exact point for point T? Okay, so how much good 1 and good 2 included here? Okay, how can I find the exact amount of good 1 and good 2? Okay, this is the uppermost indifference curve intersecting with budget line. Okay, so how can we find this point D? Yes, the slope, okay, but the slope of what? The slope of here at point D, slope of budget line is equal to the slope of indifference curve, right? So let me write it clear here. At optimum point, slope of budget line is equal to the slope of indifference curve. So what is the slope of the budget line here? How can I find it? What is slope? Here, this part, okay, y over x. Because of the direction of this budget line, okay, the slope of the budget line here is minus y over x. Karşı kenar bölü komşu kenar. Okay, so can I know the exact value of y here? Okay, what is y? Burada y'nin değerini bilebilir miyim? In fact, so yeah, it can be. Yeah. So because that is the intersection, right? So intersection of the budget line with the y-axis, okay, with the vertical axis, and I know that this is the maximum amount of good 2 that I consume. So which is my income over the price of good 2. Then what is x? What is x? The same logic. This is the maximum amount of x that I can consume. It is I over P1. Okay, so if I do the math here, I will get minus P1 over P2. Is that correct? So when we have this straight line is the budget line, okay? The slope will be the ratio of the prices, okay, with minus sign. Then what is the slope of this indifference curve here at this point? So we were using a special term for the slope of the indifference curve. What was it? Bir terim kullanıyorduk. Indifference curve'ün eğimi için, slope için. Marginal rate of substitution, yes. Okay, so it will be the ratio of the marginal utilities, okay? So the slope of the indifference curve is the marginal rate of substitution. So how do I calculate the marginal rate of substitution? Marginal rate of substitution is negative sign, the ratio of the marginal utility of good 1 and marginal utility of good 2. So what is marginal utility of good 1? It is d utility over dx1, okay? The derivative of the utility function with respect to x1. And marginal utility of good 2 is the derivative of utility with respect to x2. Okay? So which means that at optimum bundle, since slopes are the same, okay, the budget line and indifference curve, I get the following relation, okay? Minus P1 over P2 is equal to marginal rate of substitution, which is equal to the ratio of the marginal utilities. Okay? So this equation will help me, okay, to find the exact point for this optimum bound. But this will not be enough. Okay? And I will be also using, okay, usually this equation will not be enough to find optimum bound. Okay, and I will be also using, okay, in addition to this, okay, I will be also using the budget line, because I know that the optimum point will lie on the budget line. That will be my second equation. Any question? Sorunuz var mı? Burası bakın çok önemli. Buradan kesin bir soru gelecek sınavda. Şimdi biraz örnek çözeceğiz. O örnekleri de biraz iyi algılamanız gerekecek. Okay, so this point is very important. Okay, so you will definitely have a question from the consumer choice. So basically, so I will ask some questions, okay, to find the optimum bound. And this point is very important. Any question? No. Perfect. So let's solve an example. Okay, so this is the example. So that is almost the same example. Okay, so I'm just changing it a little bit. Okay, so let's say that example. I am giving you a utility function. Okay, so the utility function that I am giving you is 3 times Q1 to the 0.5 times Q2 to the 0.5. Okay, so what is this utility function called? Okay, so this is called, özel bir adı var mı bu utility function? This is called Cobb-Douglas utility function. Okay, so we covered this point in the earlier lecture. So let's say that the P1 is equal to 2 and P2 is equal to 3. So we have two goods. So our utility function is 3 times Q1 to the power Q1 to the 0.5 times Q2 to the 0.5. And the price of good 1 is 2 and the price of good 2 is 3. And my income is equal to 40. Okay. So I would like to find the optimum bound. Let me point out one hint here. Okay. So you can use the equation, the equivalence of the slopes if your indifference curve is smooth. Okay, so what do I mean by smooth? Okay, if your indifference curve are like this good shift. Okay, if they're not. Okay, and Cobb-Douglas utility functions. Okay, so whenever you see something like this, okay, some constant times Q1 to some power times Q2 to some power, then you will know that, okay, so this will be always smooth indifference curve. So which means that you can always use marginal rate of substitution is equal to the ratio of the the prices for the optimum band, okay, so which is same slope, okay. But if your, for example, if your indifference curve are like this, okay, so at this point you don't have slope, okay, the slope at those points are not defined, okay, then you cannot use this margin rate of substitution is equal to the price, okay. Your margin rate of substitution is equal to the prices cannot be used. Okay, so this is very important. So I will solve an example for this L-shaped indifference curves, okay, so which are perfect complements. So you can never use the margin rate of substitution equal to the ratio of the prices. But whenever you see an indifference curve, okay, that is represented by Cobb-Douglas utility functions, okay, you can use this margin rate of substitution is equal to the ratio of the price. Tamam, soruya başlamadan önce sorusu olan var mı? Yok. Now what we will do is we will try to find the optimum bound. Okay, so I give you hint. Okay, I gave you the hint that these indifference curves are smooth indifference curves. Okay, and let's say that so this is your budget line. Okay, in fact, so you can draw the exact budget line here. Okay, so this part will be 20 and this will be 40 over 3. Okay, you know the exact shape of the whole budget line because the price sample income is given to you, and we are looking for this optimum bundle. Okay, so let's say bundle T. So what I need to do first is I need to find the marginal rate of substitution related with this utility function. Okay, so what is the marginal rate of substitution for this utility function? It is with minus sign. Okay, the derivative of the utility function with respect to q1, okay, du over dq1 divided by du over dq2. Okay. Then how do I take the derivative of this utility function with respect to q1? It is 3 times 0.5 q1 minus 0.5 q2 0.5 divided by, I am taking the derivative with respect to q2, 3 times 0.5 q1 to the 0.5 times q2 to the minus 0.5. Okay, so if I do the math here, I will get minus q2 over q1. Yine bir dakika duralım. Burada bu işleme bir bakın. Bu işlemde bir kaçırdığınız, anlamadığınız yer varsa lütfen sorun. Sadece I just took the derivatives of the utility function with respect to q1 and q2. Okay, so if you are confused with something, okay, here please just let me know. Bir sorunuz var mı şu ana kadar? Yok. Güzel. Then I will use this. Okay. Margin rate of substitution, so which I found as Q2 over Q1, okay, is equal to the ratio of the prices. So marginal rate of substitution is equal to the ratio of the prices. In fact, I know the exact values of the prices here. It is 2 over 3. Then if I do the math here, I will get Q2 is equal to 2 over 3 times Q1. So at this optimum bundle, so which means that if I am consuming 1 unit of Q1, okay, 1 unit of good 1, then I'm consuming 2/3 units of goods. But do I know the exact amount of what is Q1 and what is Q2 here? I still don't know the exact amounts of Q1 and Q2. Nasıl bulacağım şimdi ben Q1 ile Q2'yu? How can I find Q1 and Q2 here? I just know the ratio, okay? I just know the relative ratio of Q1 and Q2. Do I have an extra equation that I can use the exact values of Q1 and Q2 here? Hadi cevaplayın bunu. Is there another equation that will help me to find the exact values of Q1 and Q2? Yes, which is what's that equation, Osman? Osman Oğuz.
Buyurun hocam.
So what is that equation that you have?
It's ya
Budget constraint, right?
bütçemle alabileceğim hani
Exactly. So that's my budget. Okay. So I can use the budget constraint. Okay. And so as your friend, as Osman Oğuz wrote that, okay, so the budget constraint is 2Q1 plus 3Q2 is equal to 40. I have this equation from the slopes from margin rate of substitution is equal to the ratio of the price. And I have this second equation. Okay. I have two unknowns, so which are Q1 and Q2, and I have two equations. And I can solve this system of equations here, okay? So what I will do is, in fact, so I will plug this relative value of Q2 here, okay? I got 2Q1 plus 3, okay? Instead of Q2, I will write it in terms of Q1, okay? It is 2/3 Q1 is equal to 40. So which gives us 4Q1 is equal to 40, Q1 is equal to 10, and the exact value of Q2 is 2/3 times 10, which is 20/3. Sorunuz var mı? So my optimum bundle, okay, my optimum bundle is 10 and 20/3. Sorunuz varsa sorun arkadaşlar. Hani bu birazcık size yabancı geliyorsa hiç çekinmeyin. Okay? So if you are confused with anything so far, okay, so please do not hesitate to ask questions. No questions. Okay? So which means that either you are doing something more important right now, or you all got what I have explained, so which means that I'm a perfect professor here. Okay? So let's do something else. Okay. So what we have done so far is basically we used MRS is equal to the ratio of the prices. Okay? But is true if MRS is defined. Okay, so what do I mean by here MRS is defined? Okay, so which means that I can find the slope of the indifference curve. Okay. Unfortunately, I cannot find the slope of the indifference curve all the time. Okay. So we have explained, okay, in our previous lectures that so if you have perfect complements, and they, if you remember, okay, so if good 1 and good 2 are perfect complements, okay, so this is good 1 and this is good 2, then their indifference curves have L shape. Okay, so let's say that we have many L-shaped indifference curves here. Okay, so the one that I draw are just the representative ones. Okay, so burada sadece birkaç indifference curve çiziyorum ben. Burada milyon milyar sonsuz tane indifference curve var. So let's say that this is our budget line. Okay. So I would like to find, okay, the optimum bundle again. Okay. So let me follow the same way that we have done for the smooth indifference curve. Okay. Burada smooth'tan kastım benim hani böyle bir curved up olanlar. Tamam mı? Hani böyle Cobb Douglas'la gösterebilecekleri. Let's think about this point. Okay, point A. Again, what I want is my optimum bundle. Okay, for my optimal bundle. I would like to be on the uppermost indifference curve that I can afford. Okay, I want to be on the uppermost indifference curve that I can afford. So which means that, okay, I would like to find an indifference curve giving me highest satisfaction and intersecting with budget line. Okay, so remember this light blue is my budget line. Okay, so let's turn back to this graph. So can A be my optimum bundle? Okay, so that indifference curve, okay, the indifference curve that A is lying on is intersecting with my budget line, but it's not the uppermost indifference curve that I can afford. Okay, in fact, I can afford B. Okay, so the answer is no. So B is better than A, and B is affordable. Then let me ask the same question: can B be my optimum bundle? That can be even a better one. Okay, so how I can understand it? Okay, so from my drawing, okay, so this the one, okay, so which is just here, okay, this one, okay, let's say that this is point C, okay, C is lying on an upper indifference curve, okay, but it's not intersecting with the budget line. But since there is an area here, okay, so this area, okay, which means that I can draw an other indifference curve, okay, like this, which is also intersecting with my budget line, okay, so which means that D is not my optimum boundary. So if I draw those upper bundles, okay, at some point I can find an indifference curve, okay, so such that which is intersecting with my budget line. I can find an indifference curve intersecting with budget line at only one point. Okay, and that point, okay, so let me magnify it. Okay, that point will be the corner of that indifference curve. Okay, this is the corner of the indifference curve. We also call it as the king point of the indifference curve. Burada kırılma noktası, yani böyle tam köşe noktası indifference curve'ün benim budget line'ımla sadece bir noktada kesişiyor. If I go to upper indifference curve, okay, they will not intersect with my budget line, okay, which means that they cannot be afforded. So if I go in this direction, okay, so I can have indifference curves so which are intersecting. If I go this direction, okay, I will have indifference curves so which are intersecting with my budget line, but I will get lower utility, lower satisfaction. Okay, so which means that D is my optimum one. Okay. So let me draw this figure. Okay, so we just want indifference curve. Okay, just to make it clear. Okay. So this is my graph again. Okay, so this light blue one is my budget line. And this is the uppermost indifference curve. Okay, and this point D is my optimum one. Okay. So, how do I find this point D? Burada point D'yi nasıl bulabilirim? So, can I use MRS is equal to the ratio to the prices? Can I use that equation? Hadi burada 10 dakika sonra ara vereceğiz. Birazcık şey yapalım, dayanalım. Şunu bir anlamaya çalışalım. Can I use that equation? Can I use the slopes are equal here? Why not?
Hocam bu kullanımda Türkçe söylesem olur mu? İlk başta. İngilizce mi söyleyeyim?
Bir daha söyler misin?
Bu denklem yani bu kullanılabilir ama aynı zamanda ürünlerin şeyini bilmem gerekmiyor mu? Satisfaction'ını, L'yi çizebilmek yani L'deki değerini.
Okay, so so basically for this part, okay, so I need to know the utility, right? Okay, so to find the marginal rate of substitution. Okay, so but the point here is basically, so I cannot, so this equation is telling that the slope of indifference curve at bundle D is equal to slope of budget. Tamam mı? Hani bu margin rate of substitution is a way to define the slope of the indifference curve at that point. So can I find the slope of this indifference curve? Okay, so at point D. Is it defined? It's not defined, okay? Why it's not defined, okay? Because there may be, okay, many other lines, okay, like this, like this, like this, okay, passing through that point. So which means that slope of this point, the slope is not defined, okay? So which means that even I know, suppose that even I know the utility function, okay, I cannot use the marginal rate of substitution. Okay, I cannot use this. So let me draw it. Okay, I cannot use the marginal rate of substitution is equal to the ratio of the price. But I can do something else here. Okay, so what I know is, okay, no matter what the equation is representing this, no matter what the utility equation representing this indifference curve, I know that the optimum point will be always the corner points, okay? No matter what is the utility function, what the utility function is, the optimum point will be always the corner points. Okay, so which means that if I can find the equation for the corner points, so if you remember our earlier lecture, okay, our lecture last week, so we said that, okay, so if these are the other indifference curves, okay, there is a line, okay, connecting those corner points. Okay, so there is a line connecting the corner points, and if I get the intersection of that line and budget line, then I got the optimum one. Okay, then what is the equation of this red line? Okay, the ones which are connecting to the corner points. Okay, so if you remember, okay, so perfect complements, we have a special form of the indifference, we have a special form of the utility functions, so which we define minimum of some constant q1 plus, sorry, not plus of course, and the minimum of some constant q2. Okay, and that red line is basically the equation for that red line is aq1 is equal to bq2. Okay, and plus this one, and the budget line gives me the optimum one. Sorunuz var mı? So I will give a break, okay, for around 10 minutes. Okay, so we will meet in 7:10. Okay, and I will solve an example for this. Okay, not one, two examples. Okay, but here the logic is again, okay, so I'm just looking for this intersection. Okay, so once I know the equation for this red line, okay, which is connecting the corner points and the budget line, it will give me the optimum bundle if the goods are perfect complements. Sorunuz var mı? So the red line is the line connecting the corner points of the indifference curve. Okay, so for this indifference curve, okay, the utility function representing this indifference curve is given as the minimum of aq1, okay, a is some constant here, and bq2, again b is some constant here. And to find that red line, okay, what I need to do is basically the equation for that red line is aq1 is equal to bq2. So once I set up that equation, okay, and once I set up the budget line, and I will just look at the intersection of those two lines. Burada kırmızı ile çizdiğim line, bu kırmızı ile çizdiğim line, corner pointleri birleştiren line. Okay, so if we have the other indifference curve here, okay, so all will have the king points, okay, the corner points on that red line. Okay, açık oldu mu biraz da? Tamam. So let's give 10 minutes break. Okay, so we will meet at 7:10. Okay, so I will stop recording. Okay, and I will be here in 10 minutes. So let's start our lecture today. So I start recording, and we will continue from where we left. Okay, so we were covering the perfect complements, and the utility function representing the perfect complements is minimum of aq1 bq2. Okay, for example, if let's give some values for a and b, utility q1 q2 minimum of 2 q1 3 q2 değerler veriyoruz. Tamam mı? Şimdi bu A ile B'ye bir değer verdik. So we just gave a value for A and B. Suppose that we have a bundle. Okay, so let's say that bundle 1. So which is composed of 1 unit of good 1 and 2 units of good 2. So what is the utility that I am getting from that bundle? Okay, so utility that I am getting 1 and 2 is equal to what? It is 2, okay? How do I calculate it? It is just easy, okay? So I will select the minimum of 2 times 1 or 3 times 2. And the minimum of those 2 is 2. So let's say another bundle. Okay, so let's try to find the utility that I can achieve from 2 and 2. I will calculate the minimum of 2 times 2, 3 times 2, so which will be 4. Okay. So let's do one more thing here. It is 3 and 2. It will be a minimum of 2 times 3, 3 times 2, which will be 6. Okay. So if I increase more, okay, so utility of 4 and 2, I will have minimum of 2 times 4, 3 times 2, it will be 6 again. Okay. So this is the shape of the utility functions, okay, for the perfect components. Okay. So let's do an example. So our utility function is given as, okay, so this will be perfect complements, minimum of 3q1 and 4q2. Okay. Then if I have the price of good 1 as 1 and the price of good 2 as 2, and if I have an income of 50, I'm looking for the optimum bundle. Okay. How do I proceed from here? Şimdi ne yapacağız burada? Geldiniz mi? Herkes burada mı şu anda? Bir ses verin.
Hocam.
Tamamdır. Şimdi, so let's remember the graph. Okay, so we were working on. Perfect. Thank you. So let's remember the graph. Okay. So we have the budget line. Okay, so the budget line, so the price and income are given to us. Okay, so we can draw this blue line. And the utility functions for this L-shaped indifference curve is also given. Okay, but instead, so what I need to draw is this red line. Okay, so which is connecting the corners of those indifference curves. Okay, and I know that this red line. Okay, so if my utility function is given as minimum of AQ1 BQ2, the equation for red line, okay, so the line connecting to this corner point is AQ1 is equal to BQ2. Okay, that is the equation for the red line. So what I need to do is basically by using this utility function, okay, I need to find the equation for the line connecting the corner points. Okay, it's easy. Okay, it is just 3q1 is equal to 4q2. If I want to draw it, so the maximum amount of good one that I can consume is 50. The maximum amount of good 2 that I can consume is 25. So this will be my budget line. This orange one is my budget line. Okay. And I have this red line. Okay. So which will be basically, so let's say that if this is 4, 1, 2, 3, 4 unit here, and that will be 3 units here. Okay, so this is the 3q1 is equal to 4q2. Okay, so the equation for the budget line is 1, okay, P1, Q1 plus P2, Q2 is equal to income. Okay, I have the values here. Q1, okay, 1 Q1 plus 2 Q2 is equal to 50. And I have two equations. I have two equations and two unknowns. Okay, so the unknowns are here Q1 and Q2, and the two equations, this is the first equation that I have, and this is the second equation that I have. Okay, then I can just find the intersection points. Okay, so again, let's make it clear. Okay, so this red line is representing the corner points of the indifference curve. Okay, so if I want to find the exact point for this optimal bundle, then what I need to do is I need to use Q1 plus 2Q2 is equal to 50, and Q1 is equal to 4Q2 over 3. I will just plug in the value of Q1 in terms of Q2 to the first equation, and I have 4Q2 over 3 plus 2Q2 is equal to 50. Okay, then if I do the math here, I will get 4Q2 plus 6Q2 is equal to 150. And Q2 is equal to 15, and Q1 is equal to, if I plug in the value here, it will be 4 over 3 Q2. It is 4 over 3 times 15, which is 20. Okay, so then this optimal bundle is Q1 is equal to 20, and Q2 is equal to 50. Sorunuz var mı burada? Do you have any question? Perfect. Perfect. Okay. So let me ask you a question. Okay. So here, okay, so the question was easy, okay, because you have given this exact utility function. Suppose that instead of giving that exact utility function, okay, I am giving you a question, something like that, okay? Another example. I consume coffee, each cup of coffee with 2 sugars, okay? With 2 cubes of sugar, okay? So let's, price of coffee is $2, okay, whatever it is, and price of sugar is, so let's make it more interesting, 3, and price of sugar is 1. Okay, price of per cube sugar is 1. Okay, and I have an income of $10. Find the optimum bundle. How can I solve this? Okay, so here the exact form of the utility function is not given to you, but I'm explaining it through a story here. Okay, so burada bir hikaye anlatıyorum size. Diyorum ki ben burada her bir cup of coffee için 2 tane şeker kullanıyorum. Burada siz düşüneceksiniz ki bu complement olacak. Tamam mı? 2 tane kahve içeceksem 4 sugar. So if I would like to drink 3 cups of coffee, then I need 6 sugars. Okay? So if you give me 7 sugars, 7 cubes of sugars, then I will be just using 6 of them. Okay, so which means that I can just drink 3 cups of coffee. Okay, then from this story, okay, so you need to sense that, okay, these are perfect complements. But what is the utility function? Okay, so I know that for the perfect complements, the utility function is, so let's say that C and S is minimum of AC or BS. So what is the value of A and B here? I don't know yet. How can I find those values? Okay, so it looks like, so it is 1 to 2, right? So basically the coefficient in front of coffee is 1, okay? But the sugar, the coefficient in front of the sugar is 2. Is that correct? Okay, so let's think about it, okay? So actually the answer is not 1 and 2, okay? It is just the opposite, okay? 2 and 1. Okay, why? So let's think about it on the graph. So let's say that this is coffee, this is sugar. Okay. So if I have 1 cup of coffee, okay, and 2 sugars, and if I increase the number of the coffee, so if I increase the number of the cubes of sugar, okay, so I'm still getting the same utility, right? Okay, still getting the same satisfaction, because I cannot increase the exact cup of coffee that I can drink. Okay. Instead, if I have 2 cubes of sugar, and if I increase the number of the coffees that I have, okay, I will have the same satisfaction. It doesn't change. Okay. Let's think about another example. Okay, 2 and 4. That will be another corner here. Okay, so which means that these corner points will be the factors of this 1 coffee and 2 cubes. Okay, so 2 coffee and 4 cubes. Okay, 3 coffee and 6 cubes. 0.1, 0.5 coffee and 1 cube of sugar. Okay, so if I want to do it here, okay, for example, so this will be 0.5, so this will be another indifference curve. Okay, so that the red line, okay, so which I'm interested into drawing, okay, is basically the line connecting all those corner points. Okay, so what is the equation of this line? Okay, so I can represent it as S and Q, sorry, not Q, S and S, C. Okay, there will be some coefficient in front of S, and there will be some coefficient in front of C. So let's say that the coefficient in front of C is 1. Okay, so if I have 1 cup of coffee, okay, what is the corresponding point here? It is 2 sugar. Okay, so here 2, 1. Then what should be this coefficient here? Come on. It is 0.5. Okay, so the equation of this line is 0.5 S is equal to C. If I want to write it just in terms of integers, it will be S is equal to 2C. Okay, so remember, okay, so this is AC is equal to BS, so which means that E is equal to 1 and A is equal to 2. It is just the opposite of the way that you are consuming, okay, the opposite of the ratios that you are consuming. Burası açık mı? Mesela burada hani soruyu gördüğünüzde bu koefficientler direkt hani kullandığınız oranlar gibi olacak gibi düşünüyorsunuz. Fakat tam tersi olması lazım. Okay? So once I know the exact form of the utility function, okay, which is 2C 1S, I know the equation for this red line, okay, the line connecting the corner points, okay, so which is 2C is equal to S. Good. Then what I just do is basically I will, so here the maximum amount of coffee that I can consume is 10 over 3. The maximum amount of coffee that the sugar that I can consume is 10. Okay, so if I look at here, so I would like to find this point. Okay, that point is basically the intersection of the budget line. Okay, so what is the budget line? It is 3 times C plus 1 times S, which is 10. Okay, and the equation of this red line is 2C is equal to S. If I just plug in instead of, and I have 2C is equal to S, I will just plug in the value of S here in terms of C. It will be 3C plus 2C is equal to 10, then 5C is equal to 10, and C is equal to 2, and S is equal to Okay, so this is the optimum bundle. Any question? Anlaşıldı mı burası? Perfect. Okay, then let's continue. Okay. So far, what we have done is, so we work on the smooth indifference curves, so which is the Cobb-Douglas utility function, and we can represent it by equal to Q1, Q2 is equal to A times Q1 to the alpha times Q2 to the beta. And we also work on the complements, which is L-shaped indifference curves, and the utility function for that is minimum of AQ1 or BQ2, okay, and we have the substitutes, okay, and the utility function for them is Q1, Q2 is equal to AQ1 plus BQ2, right? Now let's try to find the optimum bundle, so when we have perfect substitutes. So let's do that. So let's say that our utility function, or instead of first, let's work on the indifference curve. Okay. So our indifference curves will be linear line. Okay, will be straight lines. Okay, straight indifference curves. Just like this. Okay, these are our indifference curves. Okay. Suppose that we have a budget line. Okay, so let me draw the budget line with light blue. Suppose that this is my budget line. Okay. So here, my budget line flatter than indifference curves. Okay. Can everyone see that? Herkes görebiliyor değil mi? Burada benim budget line'ım. So the blue line, okay, light blue line is flatter than the red indifference curves. Okay. So which means that slope of budget line, okay, in absolute value lower than the slope of indifference curves in absolute value. Bunu herkes görebiliyor mu? So what is the slope of the budget line? Okay, slope of budget line. What is the slope of the budget line? What is the slope of the budget line? It is minus P over P1 over P2. Right? What is the slope of this indifference curve? Okay, so if my utility function is given like AQ1 plus BQ2, okay, suppose that I am achieving some utility here in this slope. Okay, so the utility achieved is U bar, okay, and this maximum point is U bar over B, okay, and this maximum point is, that's right, okay, U bar over A, and the slope is minus sign, okay, U bar over B divided by U bar over A, which is minus A over B. Okay, so what we mean here is, so in absolute value, okay, minus A over B is greater than minus sign P over P2, P1 over P2, okay? And if I write it here more clearly, A over B is greater than P1 over P2. Tamam, hani burada flatter dediğimiz slope'ları karşılaştırdığımızda utility fonksiyonumuz eğer bizim A times Q1 plus B times Q2 ise A over B is greater than P1 over P2. This means that, okay, budget line is flatter. Okay. Then what will be my optimum bundle here? Okay, again, the logic is the same, always the same. Okay, so we would like to achieve the highest, uppermost indifference curve, okay, with my given budget. Can this point be optimal? No. Can this be optimal? No. Okay, so if I draw the red lines here, okay, so it can still intersect, it can still intersect, it can still intersect, still intersect, still intersect, and I can come to up to this point. Okay, so where I am consuming all my budget, okay, and at optimum, okay, whenever the budget line is flatter than the indifference curve, okay, which means that A over B is greater than P1 over P2, at optimum, okay, I consume all my money on good one. Where does this come from? Okay, so just think about this. So both the indifference curve and the budget line, they are linear. So the extra utility that I am getting from extra unit of good one is A, okay? And the cost of that extra unit of good one is P1. The extra utility that I am getting from good 2 is B, and the cost is P2. Okay, so this ratio means that, okay, the extra utility that I am getting from the relative extra utility that I am getting from good 1, okay, so this is the relative utility that I am getting from good 1, is greater than the relative cost of that consuming extra unit of good 1, which means that I should consume more good 1. Okay, so which means basically, so increase your consumption on good one to the maximum point, okay, which is I am consuming all my income on good one. Okay, if it was just the opposite, okay, so what is the opposite? If my indifference curves So let's say that these are my inference curves. Flatter than my budget line. This is budget line. If budget line is steeper than indifference curve, so which is the case when A over B is less than P1 over P2. Okay? Then this means that the extra relative utility that I am getting from good one is lower than the extra relative cost of good one. Okay? Then here, so if I draw the indifference curve, okay, so intersecting with this budget line, okay, so I can achieve more up to this point. Okay. Here what I do is consume only good. Okay. What is the last option? It is A over B is equal to P1 over P2. What does this mean? Okay. This means that indifference curve and budget line are parallel to each other. Which means that any point on budget line is optimal. Sorusu olan var mı burada? Okay, so suppose that you are confused. Okay, so in the exam, okay, so I ask something like this perfect substitute and you are confused. Okay, and what you need to do? Okay. Okay, so if you don't know exactly whether it will be all good one or all good two or any point on the budget line, okay, so to find the optimum, what you can do is basically evaluate the extreme points. Okay, so these extreme points are the max good one and max good two that you can consume on utility function. Okay, whichever is giving you the higher utility, then that will be your optimum point. Okay, so you can be confused. Okay, you can forget about these slopes, you can forget about this relative relation between this A over B and P1 over P2. Okay, it doesn't matter. You can just think about this. Okay, so if this is your budget line, okay, so this is the maximum amount of good one that you can consume. This is the maximum amount of good two that you can consume. Then what you do is basically evaluate the utility here and utility here. Then whichever is giving you the higher utility, that will be your optimum bound. Good. Sorunuz yok. Güzel. And let me ask you one question here. Okay, so let me whether I can. I'm not sure whether I have assigned this in the homework, but so let me try to solve this. Okay, so is this question in your homework? Ödevinizde mi bu soru? Okay. So then let me change some numbers here. Okay, so logic will be the same. Okay, I'm just changing some numbers here. Okay, so let's make the income as 200 and sandwich cost $3 and book cost 10 if each person 1 and 5. Like, so let's say that it is 1 and 4. And after that, if she purchases more than 5 books, in a week, the price falls to $5.46. Okay. Okay, so I just changed it just a little bit. Okay. Let's try to draw the budget constraint here. Okay. So let me ask you the first, okay? Is budget line a straight line? Okay, specific to this question. Is it a straight line? Bu soru için, okay, spesifik olarak budget line'ımız düz bir çizgi mi olur? Yoksa kırıklı bir çizgi mi olur? Düz olmaz bence de. Çünkü hani bir değişiyor. Dikkat ederseniz fiyat belirli bir şeyden sonra fiyatının 1 ile 4 arasında, so between 1 and 4 books, okay, so we have a price of $10, okay, after that we have a price of $5, okay, so which means that there will be a king at some point, okay, and that king will be at whenever the prices change, okay, but the price of the sandwich will be always the same, okay, so it will be always $3. And what we will do is basically, we will try to point out the extreme points, okay? If the price was not changing, okay, the extreme points are just the maximum amount of good one that you can consume and the maximum amount of good two that you can consume, okay? But here, the extreme points or the important points are again, the maximum amounts and the point where we have a change in the price, okay? So we will be careful on those points, okay? After that, so everything will be exactly the same, okay? So let's try to draw the budget line. So let's say that this is books and this is sandwiches, okay? So what is the maximum amount of the sandwiches that I can consume? Yeah, exactly. It's easy. It is 200 over 3. Okay, so there is no price change for the sandwich. Okay, so it is always the same price. Okay, and which means that if I consume no books, then I can consume all my money on sandwiches. Okay, and it will be 200 over 3. So what is the maximum amount of books that I can consume? Okay. So frankly, I don't know the exact answer right now. Okay, I need to calculate. Okay, first of all, if can I purchase 4 books? Okay, so which is the king points? Okay, can I afford 4 books? Okay, so which cost $40. Sorry. So which cost $40, and I can afford. Okay, so if I want to buy 4 books, okay, so with the price of $10, I can consume 40 books. No, sorry, I'm sorry for that. So up until 4 books, okay, so I will spend $40, okay? But after that, okay, so what I am left is the money left, which is 200 minus 40, which will be 160, okay, $160. Then I can consume all of those remaining money still on books, okay? But now the prices will be $5, okay? So this is the amount of the number of the books that I can purchase, okay, when the price of book is $5, which will be, what is the answer for that? It is 32, right? So what is the maximum amount of books that I can consume? I can buy 32 from $5, okay? And I have already spent 4 books with $10, okay? Which will be 32 plus 4, it will be 36. Okay? So the maximum amount of book that I can consume is 36. Okay? Again, these are the maximum amounts. Okay? But it's not enough here. Okay? Because, so I need to be careful about at point 4. At point 4, okay, the slope of the budget line, okay, will be depending on the price of the sandwich, okay, which is 3 and 10. Okay, after that, okay, the slope will change, okay, because the price of the book drops to $5. Okay, to draw it, I can just find the how much, okay, how many sandwiches that I can consume, okay, if I have consumed 4 books, okay. If 4 books are purchased, I am consuming the remaining money on the sandwiches, okay. So which will be 200 minus 40 divided by 3. Okay, so this is the maximum amount of sandwiches that I can consume. Okay, so which will be 160 divided by 3. Okay, so this is the first portion of my budget line. Okay, after that, there is a king here. And the budget line becoming flatter. Okay, so this is something like this something like a king budget line. Okay, so the upper part is steeper. Okay, so this part is steeper, but this part is flat. Okay, so if you face a question something like this, okay, so whenever the price changes, okay, so then you need to find those 3 points, okay, and just connect the lines. And your drawing might be not perfect here, okay? What you need to be thinking about is which part is steeper and which part is flatter, okay? So after this point, okay, now the books are becoming relatively cheaper. Okay, so which means that, okay, so you should be able to consume more books. Okay, so more books means that, okay, so the horizontal intersection should be far away, okay? Then it should be flatter here. Good? Any questions? And the rest of the question is basically, is it possible that Carmela might have more than one utility maximizing solution? Is it possible? Suppose that her indifference curve is something like, okay, so this is tangent point 1, this is tangent point 2, okay? It is possible. Okay? Suppose that, okay, so in the midterm, okay, I gave you a question such that we have a budget line like this. Okay. And we have the indifference curves, okay, so which are smooth, okay, so with the following shape. Q1 to the 0.2 and Q to the 0.6. Let's say 8. Okay. How do you find the optimum boundary? Nasıl bulabilirsiniz burada? Yazmak yerine, so instead of writing so on the chat, okay, so you can just try to explain so verbally. Okay, so just unmute yourself and so you can explain. Yok mu cevap?
Is it the point that
Sesiniz gelmedi. Bağlantı biraz kötü sanırım. Beni duyabiliyorsunuz değil mi? Herkes duyabiliyor musunuz beni?
Evet hocam.
Tamam. Şimdi burada let me explain in Turkish first, okay, then I will explain in English, okay? Şimdi burada bunun slope'u nedir bu tarafın? Diyelim ki fiyat P1'den, şimdi ilk ürünün fiyatı değişiyor, tamam mı? P1 işte 2 iken ya da 3 iken P1 2'ye düştü. P2'de her zaman 4'tü. Atıyor. Bu tarafın slope'u nedir? What is the slope of this portion? Okay, so this upper portion. Nedir? It is minus. So let's say that this P prime. Okay, it is minus 3 over 4. Okay, and suppose that this king point is whenever the number of goods that you are purchasing, if it is less than 2, the price is 3. If the number of the goods that you are purchasing is greater than 2, the extra unit will be at the price of 2. Okay. The slope of this portion will be minus 2 over 4. Everything is clear, right? So what we do, okay, suppose that forget about the price change, okay? So if you don't have the price change, okay, what we were doing is basically, so we were equalizing this to marginal rate of substitution, and we were finding some result. If the outcome, okay, if optimum bundle, if at optimum bundle Q1 is less than or equal to 2, then it means that, okay, so the intersection is somewhere here, okay, so which is consistent. If Q1 is greater than 2, okay, so which means that the intersection is here, which is not correct, okay, because we know that when the price is great, so when the amount of good one that we are consuming is more than 2, then I should be considering this portion of the budget line, which is inconsistent. Okay? So I need to do is basically, I need to solve two maximization problem. Okay, so with the first one is with minus 3 over 4 equal to marginal rate of substitution. Okay, and you need to use the budget constraint as 3Q1 plus 4Q2 is equal to your income. Okay, you will get a optimum bundle 1. Okay, then you also need to solve for the following. Okay, 1 minus 1 over 2 is equal to marginal rate of substitution. And now your budget line should be 2Q1 plus 4Q2 is equal to income. Okay, then you find optimum bundle 2. Okay, so you have two candidates. If optimum bundle 1 is your solution, okay, which means that the Q1 that you find here, okay, should be less than 2. If optimum bundle 2 is your solution, then the Q1 that you find here should be greater than 2. Okay, so this is something like it. So if you remember the king demand function, okay, and the king supply function, okay, so we were looking for the intersection, and we were verifying so which paths that we should take. So we were looking with it, so it is consistently where the king is on the graph. Okay, here you will do exactly the same. Okay. So if you do you have any question for this? Perfect. So then that's all for today. Okay. So the midterm will start at 5:40. Okay, at the regular class time. So I will ask you for just to be safe. Okay. Please be ready so around 5:30. Okay, I will share the link so before 5:30. Okay, and I will make the question on my screen start from 5:40. Okay, so most likely you will have 3 questions, and those questions will be easy to solve. Okay, so it will be not that challenging. Okay, so please go over what we have done today and the other questions that you have solved, your assignments, everything, okay, your recitations, and the questions should be easy to solve. Okay, you will have 90 minutes to complete your midterm. Okay, and I will give you 10 minutes to upload your midterm solutions to course. 3 questions with multiple parts. Okay. So, any other question? On Wednesday, okay. Yes, you need to have your cameras open for it. Okay, so I explained it at the beginning of the class. Okay, and I will send an email for the instructions. Okay, so but please, so if you missed the first part of this class, okay, please go over the video that I will share you today. Okay, and I explain everything about the midterm there. Okay, if you don't have any question, okay, that's.
Hocam bir şey sorabilir miyim son
Tabii.
olarak? Çarşamba günü normalde siz hani bir saatlik bir sizin section'ınız var, daha sonra recitation oluyordu ya.
Evet.
Bu hafta olacak mı recitation?
There will be a recitation on Wednesday, okay, as usual, and I will start. I will have 1 hour, okay, starting from 3:30, okay, and I will answer your questions. I will not be covering a new topic, so if you have any questions, okay, for the midterm, I will be answering your questions on Wednesday, okay, starting from 3:30. Okay, and there will be a recitation just before that, okay, starting from 1:30.
Okay, thank you so much.
Another question? Perfect. Okay. Arkadaşlar, so please look at your assignments, okay? Look at the questions that we have solved, okay? So you will not have something different from what we have covered so far. Okay? Go over everything that we have done in the class. I will send the instructions of the midterm, okay? So on email, okay? Just to make it, we are all on the same page. Good. Another questions? Okay, I will see you on Wednesday. Okay, bye-bye. And by the way, so if you have any questions, so please do not hesitate to send email.
Thank you. Take care.